Thanks, Arlene, for your response to this forum and for the question that you press, especially in your first paragraph, about what the need of the readers is, what is implied as the issue to which Paul is speaking in that initial section, especially of 1:18 to 32. And I suppose that we could say that they need Paul to remind them or enlighten them about the injustice that they come from, that characterizes the societies from which they have emerged. But I think, at least what I'm trying to say is that Paul is trying to teach them, first of all, how the gospel is the revelation of God's justice and what their need for God's justice actually means, what it entails. And that's a little bit more specific. It's not just a generic need for God to address their injustice. It's more specific. And that's what leads me to emphasize that rhetorical question in 2:1 as the kind of clarification of what Paul has been up to in the paragraphs preceding that. Who are you then, O human being, to judge, to play the ruler of others? Because the very things that you are condemning in others, you find in yourself, in your own history, in your own community. And so the need, it seems to me, is for the readers to understand that God's justice in the gospel addresses not just their injustice generically, but the way that their injustice keeps them from being able to live judgmentally, to live and judge self-righteously. And that seems to me to be the point that Paul is concerned with, as we'll see at the end of this segment of the argument that goes through the end of chapter 3. This next week, it leads Paul to finally ask the question, as after he's kind of sort of more further developed this account of God's justice revealed in Jesus, leads him to say, where then is boasting? So the way that Paul is explaining the revelation of God's justice in Jesus sort of rules boasting out. It exposes boasting as without basis. And that, I think, names more specifically the purpose that Paul has in speaking about the injustice of the readers' past and therefore their inheritance in the particular way that he does. So I hope that clarification helps. Thanks again for your question.